She had carried his child for 9 long months, dreaming of the day they'd come home together as a family. But on the day she needed him most, he didn't show up. No calls, no messages, just silence. So, still weak from delivery, she made her way home alone. But when she opened that front door, what she saw froze her in place, turning exhaustion into pure shock. This wasn't just neglect. This was something far darker. And once you hear what happened next, you'll never forget it. The morning had started with quiet hope. The sun peeked through the hospital blinds as she cradled her newborn, breathing in that sweet, warm scent only a baby has. Her body ached from the long hours of labor, but her heart clung to the thought of finally going home. She imagined him waiting in the car, smiling, ready to help her into the seat while their child slept peacefully in her arms. But when the nurse wheeled her to the front entrance, there was no car, no husband, just the cold wind cutting through her hospital gown. She checked her phone, no new messages. Maybe he was running late, she thought. Maybe there was traffic. She waited, clutching her baby tighter, ignoring the questioning glances from strangers walking past. Minutes turned to an hour. The nurse's polite smile began to fade, replaced by quiet concern. "Do you want me to call someone?" she asked softly. Her throat tightened, but she shook her head. No, this was her husband. He wouldn't just leave her here. But deep down, a small, unwelcome thought crept in. What if this wasn't an accident? What if this was a choice? With no ride, no help, and no answers, she gathered her things, stepped out into the street, and began the slow walk home. She had no idea that every step she took was leading her closer to a discovery that would change everything. The walk home felt longer than ever. Every step sent sharp aches through her body, but she kept going, balancing the weight of her bag on one shoulder and her baby on the other. She tried to call him again, straight to voicemail. The sound of cars rushing past made her clutch the tiny bundle tighter, shielding the baby from the gusts of exhaust and dust. By the time she reached their street, her legs trembled. From the outside, their house looked exactly the same. Neat lawn, curtains drawn, a faint glow from the living room window. But something about it felt off. She climbed the steps, fished her keys from her bag, and unlocked the door. The moment it swung open, a heavy scent hit her, not the warm, lived-in smell of home, but something unfamiliar. Her heart thudded as she stepped inside, her eyes scanning the hallway. There were shoes by the door that weren't hers, or his. A woman's heels, red, expensive-looking. She froze, listening. Then came the muffled sound of laughter from the living room, low and intimate. Her first instinct was to call his name, but the words caught in her throat. She moved quietly down the hallway, each step feeling heavier than the last. The baby stirred in her arms, letting out a soft whimper, as if sensing the change in her heartbeat. From the corner of the living room doorway, she could see part of the couch and him. He was leaning back, smiling in a way she hadn't seen in months. And next to him, a woman leaned in close, her hand resting on his arm like it belonged there. Her vision blurred. The sounds in the room seemed to fade under the pounding of her pulse. She wanted to storm in, to demand answers, but her feet wouldn't move. Instead, she stepped back, her mind spinning. Questions raced through her. Had this been going on the whole time she was pregnant? Was this why he never answered her calls that morning? A burst of laughter rang out again, cutting through her thoughts. And in that moment, she knew, whatever happened next, she couldn't just walk away quietly. Her grip tightened around the baby. The tiny heartbeat against her chest, the only thing anchoring her in that moment. Every muscle in her body screamed to turn away, but something stronger pushed her forward. She stepped into the living room. The woman's laughter died instantly. His eyes shot up, widening at the sight of her. Hospital wristband still on. Face pale from exhaustion, hair damp from the cold air outside. For a moment, no one moved. Then he stood abruptly, his expression twisting into something between shock and irritation. "You weren't supposed to be home yet," he blurted. The words hit her harder than any confession. Not sorry, not are you okay? Not even a glance at the child in her arms. Just a complaint that she had arrived too soon. The other woman shifted uncomfortably, grabbing her purse. "I should go," she murmured, but he didn't stop her. He didn't even look at her as she slipped past. The silence that followed was deafening. She could hear her own ragged breathing, the faint hum of the fridge in the kitchen, the baby's restless movements. She finally found her voice. I called you. I waited hours. After giving birth to our child, I walked home. Alone. And this, her eyes swept the room. The empty wine glasses on the table. The faint trace of perfume in the air. Is where you were? He didn't answer. He just ran a hand through his hair, looking everywhere but at her. In that moment, she understood. The man she thought she knew, the life she thought she had. It had been gone long before today, and now standing there with her child in her arms. She realized she was completely on her own. She didn't cry, not then. There was no strength left for tears. Instead, she adjusted the baby in her arms and walked past him, straight to the bedroom. She could feel his eyes on her back, but he said nothing. There were no apologies that could erase what she had seen, no explanations that could make her forget. The long walk home, alone after bringing their child into the world. That night she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling while her newborn slept beside her. The weight of everything settled over her like a heavy blanket. The betrayal, the loneliness, the truth that her future would not be the one she had imagined. But beneath that heaviness, a quiet resolve began to take root. She realized that love wasn't supposed to leave you stranded when you needed it most. It wasn't supposed to turn its back during your weakest moments. And whatever came next, she would face it not for him, but for herself, and for the tiny life that depended on her. Days later, she packed a bag and left. Not because it was easy, but because she finally understood that staying would teach her child all the wrong lessons about love and respect. Some betrayals break you, others build you into someone stronger than you ever thought you could be. So the question remains, how many moments like this does it take before we stop, forgiving those who show us they don't value us? And when that moment comes, will we be brave enough to walk away?